What is up, everybody? This is William Tiller. I am joined by my main man, Patrick Morrison, and this is 10-4 Broadcasting. And tonight we're giving you live action out of the International Racing League. And tonight we're in the Atlanta Motor Speedway. That is here tonight, Patrick, and I can't wait to see what these drivers have in store for us here on this beautiful Thursday night. Because, Patrick, last week we were here joined in this league, or actually on Monday night, with the IndyCar series. And that IndyCar series started off with 41 drivers. And Patrick, that was a survival of the fittest. We saw some of these names in this series race in that league, but I'm excited to see what Patrick Hernandez has in store for us here tonight.
Yeah, Patrick Hernandez and Lucas Whitehead. Those will be the guys I kind of keep an eyeball out here for here tonight in Atlanta. It's going to be a difficult track, but the Xfinity cars, they do make it a bit easier to handle around here with the width of their cars, Will. So, I mean, not too many laps, and should be a whole lot of competition with the guys in the field. But I mean, it's still going to be a race. 80 solid laps of door-to-door racing. So we'll have to see how this one turns out. I don't think it's going to be the usual.
Yeah, Patrick, and from what I'm familiar about Atlanta, it's almost the same format or formation of Charlotte. If I'm not mistaken, it's almost the same, not as high banking corners as Charlotte.
Yeah, more like Texas. You kind of it has more of a slight bend in the center, but yeah, Charlotte, you're fighting that tunnel turn. Most of your problem with Atlanta tonight is going to be your entry, because diving into turn one or diving into turn three, and you're out of that groove by just a little bit. You're going to be fighting on exit, which you're probably going to see a couple of guys hit the back wall here, because once the draft starts playing with you, it's hard to handle. These things are going to really start sliding around, as I believe we're just about coming to the end of practice.
Yes, sir, indeed. And we'll get that qualifying session right up for you here on screen. And Patrick, we've only been on these broadcasts now for about 3 or 4 weeks here in the International Racing League. And each week we get to see different strategies come into play. We get to see different drivers thinking about what they're going to do towards the end of the race. And it's always awesome to hear from the end of the race, these drivers here that finish on the podium, because you always hear, I was calculating my tires, I was calculating my fuel mileage, I was calculating my move around that guy, or you hear humility throughout the drivers where it's, I knew I didn't have the fastest car, I had to get out of the way, or you hear more cockiness, if you will, Patrick. Sometimes Patrick Hernandez comes in, finishes in first, and he knows he has the fastest car on the track. So it's really interesting to hear what these drivers have to say at the end of these races.
Yeah, and it's also going to be on tire conservation here. Atlanta really tears up that right side, and a lot of guys you see they're really, really good about tire conservation. As Patrick Hernandez, Lucas Whitehead, I believe Scott Taylor's pretty good at it. But you just got to keep an eye out for being really easy on these cars. I mean, it's easy to go fast, but it's all on strategy. I mean, it doesn't just come to racing or who's the fastest. I mean, sometimes it can be just by one pit stop, Will. Coming around these turns, and then, somebody short pit and take only right side tires, and then, then he's 8 seconds ahead. And it's really, really a tough game to play here at Atlanta. She's definitely a tricky track.
Indeed, they all can't be Ricky Bobby out there, I suppose.
No, not at all.
Taking a look here at Adam Kuczelowski. Just put up the fastest lap so far here, folks. You got Brian Tollier in second so far. And that name you mentioned, Patrick, Lucas Whitehead's got the third fastest lap on the track so far right now. Looks like Scott Taylor's up there as well. Scott Taylor just ran his fastest speed. Patrick Hernandez in the second position. And Brian Tollier just knocked him off the top spot there, Patrick.
Yeah, but these guys, don't forget, we do have 2 laps to get around here. So that first lap kind of gets those tires heated up, get them tacky, and then that second one they put down. So I think Patrick Hernandez might go ahead and stick this one and probably set the pole, is what I would assume. We'll take a quick look here. See how he did. There he goes.
Yep, there he goes, Patrick. You called it there in that 19 car, and it's always interesting, as I mentioned, it's always interesting to hear from these drivers, and it's always interesting to hear from Patrick Hernandez at the end of these races, because you hear either humility, I think it was at Auto Club, or Phoenix. Well, Phoenix, he was really excited about that one. Auto Club, he was excited, and I'm forgetting the race that we raced in between those two races, but he knew that that track he was going to fight it. He knew that his equipment was failing him towards the end, and he knew that he didn't have the fastest car on the track. So it's almost cool to hear that type of strategy and knowing your ability in the race car. Because even though this is a simulator, folks, and these guys are playing technically a video game, there's a lot more that comes into play race in and race out of these leagues.
Yeah, yeah, and right here, Will. I mean, just trying to get a good qualifying time, to stack up against, who you're lining up next to, is really, to me, is really the set point of the race. If you can get a good jump, you can stay out front. You almost have a cool and clean race, to begin. But man, I'd hate to be hanging back there in the sixth, seventh position. I mean, that's just gonna be even tougher and tougher to get going here.
Going to be very hard, but it can't be as hard as that IndyCar race was on Monday, Patrick. Has quite a few views here at 10-4 Broadcasting, but I tell you, that race was a race of endurance. I think we had about 14 or 15 cautions, Patrick. It took us a long time to get one clean green flag lap under our belts, but that is going to be a regular series here in the International Racing League. It's going to start in July, so if you want more information about that series coming up here, go ahead and check out International Racing League on Discord to find out more information about that series. We are excited about that series here, Patrick. We always love open wheels here at 10-4 Broadcasting.
Absolutely, open wheels, closed wheels. I mean, whatever requires speed and a whole lot of technicality. I love it. And it's really interesting to see how some of these drivers can transfer between the two. I mean, they do notice that the Indy cars are a totally separate beast. They handle a lot better. They're 30 to 40 miles an hour faster. They brake a lot differently. But, the key to being able to switch between is, can they handle it? You come here, one day and you're racing Indy cars at Indianapolis, and now all of a sudden let's add 1,800 pounds to the car and let's race at Atlanta. I mean, so seeing these guys swap back and forth, I mean, is quite the feat. It's not anything to turn your nose up at here, Will.
Definitely not, Patrick. And looks like we do have our starting field set right now. If you want to run the folks through that starting grid.
All right, and we got Patrick Hernandez. He took the pole here tonight, so he was feeling pretty confident about ripping around this track here, and followed up by the number 2 car of Brian Toller. We have Scott Taylor in the 54 car. We got Stone Hutchinson. We saw a lot of him last race, so hopefully he's able to stay up here in that top 5. We have Adam Kulikowski in the 28 car, running 5th. Dylan Ellis in the 99. Lucas Whitehead in the 8. And I believe, yes, all right. And Mr. Mullinax, it will be starting in the 8th position here tonight. So kind of a small field. I know some of these guys are a little worn out from that IndyCar race, but you're still going to have a lot of racing here, Will.
Yeah, Patrick, and I believe that is Alex Molnex in that 9 machine here tonight, taking the place of her dad. We saw her race just a few weeks back. Still trying to get the grips of the car, still trying to learn how iRacing works, but I'm curious to see how she runs here tonight at Atlanta. Not the most difficult track in this series, but definitely a track that she could race pretty good at here tonight.
Yeah, and I think she filled in one time before and actually didn't do too shabby. Couple laps down,
No.
but I think the only incidents were kind of somebody bumping into her, trying to get out of the way and then kind of clipping the wall. So, I'd rather somebody clip the wall just a little bit and then not work out, and still be able to get around at a decent pace. Not really, how to say it, be a stone in the river. Just keeping race pace, especially with seasoned veterans of Patrick Hernandez, who said he's been doing this 15 years. So, yeah. So it's nice to see. I mean, you got substitutes, we got fill-ins, and these guys seem to put it down. I'll tell you what, that's something.
Well, we are ready to rock and roll here in the International Racing League, and we'll be right back for the drop of that green flag. We're going to go hear from that awesome partners of ours, AdminBoxx, and we'll be right back for the start of this race. Here we go, folks. We are back live here in the International Racing League. We are just about to go green here as Patrick Hernandez is going to lead the way around to the start-finish line here. We've got 80 laps here in the A. We can't be more excited to have AdminBoxx as our official partners here at 10-4 Broadcasting. Go use promo code 10-4 box. Get yours today at 125. But here we go, folks. We're gonna go green, 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 green here in Atlanta. Ooh, and a bad start for the field. You saw Patrick Hernandez get loose. We might have to re-rack him there to get things going.
Yep.
We saw somebody in the chat say something about green flag racing, but man, here we go. It's the IndyCar series all over again here, folks, as you saw the field get really loose to start things off there.
Yeah, and it was kind of a bummer there what you saw. I mean, I think it was just the wrong gear. May have what this turned into, and it's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, you could obviously see there was spinning even in the front, but it just didn't seem to pan out there. They kind of got a little hungry there, because you see, we'll keep an eye here on the 28 because the 28 seems to get the most of it. So right there, yeah, just it looked like a first gear start, and what ended up happening is a whole lot of wheel spin and then kind of took off. So, yeah, nothing too bad there, but I'm hoping the damage isn't crucial.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to re-rack them here in the Atlanta 80, brought to you by the International Racing League. And folks, if you tuned in to our IndyCar broadcast on Monday, it was the same thing there, but I feel like that was just the difficultness of those race cars. But I'm sure once everything gets going again here, we'll have some green flag racing for the folks at home. I know Stella is not excited about that, as they said they wanted some green flag racing here, and you couldn't even get past the start-finish line. But, folks, if you do stay tuned with us here, these cars do put on a show here in the International Racing League. They, like I spoke before the broadcast here, they use all sorts of strategies, pitch strategies, tire strategies, so definitely stay tuned for the rest of the race here. We got 80 laps here at the A.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, I mean, no fear. This is the International Racing League. These guys do put on a great show and are able to get these cars around here. And I believe, shout out there to Stella. She was out there. I think she's joined us most of these races here, Will. So, yeah, she was here during the IndyCar race. So she's seen her amount of cautions. I give you that. But, yeah,
Right.
like I said, I think everybody will kind of figure out here that maybe first gear isn't the best start. Let's take it in second. The tires are cold, so we got to take off in second, and then maybe later on, first would be a good idea. But, yeah, that was just a spin out. I'm hoping some of these drivers aren't out for too long. That's Patrick Hernandez. Yeah, might be taking it down pit road, and all I would assume he would be doing anything like that would be just a fuel top off.
Make sure he's good to go here in this Atlanta 80. And Patrick, as we have a break in the action here, as we're going to try to re-rack him and go green here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, I was going to ask you, I kind of asked you what the difference was between Atlanta and Charlotte, but I wanted to ask you as an iRacer yourself, what's the best way to conquer this track here? Because I know Charlotte and Texas, you run different lines throughout the race, and you go low side, you go high side. In a race like this on Atlanta that doesn't have much banking on the corners, what's the best way to conquer this racetrack here tonight?
Will, you couldn't give me a harder question than that one. It's all on how the driver is. Some drivers run low, some run high. It's all what you're going to see is the crunch up kind of during that egg shaped when you get toward the finish line. Is you got to get real close to to the grass, kind of bump out halfway back to the grass, and then you're going to duck up right before you dive into turn one. So you're going to kind of see everybody mash up. I'm assuming single file to kind of play it safe. I mean, we do have a lot of laps to go. Over 75 laps, so these guys trying to keep it going, but it's all on the setup. I mean, some you may find that long run will be high side, is where I've found my easiest, but boy, it takes a toll on that right tire. That right rear tire definitely eats it for those turns. But if you're riding super low in the turns, the right front tire, so, regardless, if you're riding high, you're going to lose traction in the back. If you're riding low, you're going to lose steering eventually. So you do have to kind of weigh your options. I mean, I would assume that you would probably start high and then closer to the end when you're trying to make a few passes before you think a caution's going to happen, start riding low and make your passes on through the field.
Very. See, you got it, Patrick. You knew exactly how to conquer this track here tonight. So we'll be able to see if those strategies are in play here tonight, folks, as the pace lights are off of that pace car. And looks like we're going to go one more time around the A here, and then we'll get things rocking once again here in the International Racing League.
Yeah, it looks like Stone Hutchinson took some massive damage here, kind of giving a little peek at him. So, yeah, I think he's one of the ones that got kind of crunched into the wall there. He's already 2 laps behind, which is unfortunate. I believe Molinax is the same way, 2 laps behind, but I'm not sure if Molinax is still in pit. So, man, what a bummer there. See if we can find
What a bummer
him.
indeed, Patrick.
There he goes, trying to catch up to the field, but it looks like his damage is minimal. But these guys are already 2 laps behind, and it's going to be hard here at Atlanta. I mean, unless you get a bunch of cautions and getting that lucky dog on the way around, how to really come back from this. But, you know, hey, heads up, keep it going.
Yeah, we'll see what Alex has in store for us in that 9 machine. Definitely an opportunity for her to come back here in this race. We still got a long way to go. It looks like we are going still under caution here, Patrick.
Yep, 1 lap to green. Yep, yeah, we should be right there. Let's take a look at that fine pace car we got leading there.
As we're under green here, I'm going to see if I can't bring in last week's winner for just a quick chat. See if he's got any strategies for us here the rest of the way. And Patrick Hernandez, we'll get you on the radio here real quick before we go green. Big congratulations for your win last week. What do you think it's going to take to win here at Atlanta?
Man, I don't know. The track is really slick. I believe you guys saw in the on the stream that everybody spun their tires. It's something that caught everyone by surprise. So I don't know, man. I have trust issues. The car was really loose on practice. So I will try to race clean, like have clean laps instead of fast. So.
Yep.
I don't know. I will try my best, but I don't feel so sure of winning this race.
All right, well, play it safe. Second gear start, bud.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. We were back to going to green flag racing here. We just spoke with Patrick Hernandez for just a quick minute there. I'm sure we'll speaking to him a few more times here tonight, folks. But we're about to go green once again here at Atlanta in the International Racing League as Patrick Hernandez leads them across the start-finish line.
Wow. Yeah, Dylan Ellis got a pretty good jump there. It looked like Patrick Hernandez might have gone ahead and started down that second gear. You know, make sure he gets a nice, easy pull-off. And, man, we're real quick on the single file here, Will.
And you see Patrick again leading them down the backstretch here. They are single file here. They actually restarted single file there, so a quick single file restart, as Patrick just mentioned. You see Patrick Hernandez going way up the wall there. I think maybe brushed it just a little bit, trying to run that Dale Jr. line on the top side.
Yeah, gotta be real careful there. But like I was saying, you see how he's taking these turns at Atlanta, kind of diving down and you know, rocking his way around the track. But I kind of like what he's saying. You know, it's kind of loose. You really got to wait for your tires to settle in here. I mean, the track is very abrasive, and you just got to take your time, because you see him ride that top line. That's about the groove I ride. So right up there, that'll keep his tire wear to a minimum, and then he'll remain fast for a lot longer than these other guys. As you can see, man, he's pulling away by almost a second here, Will.
Yeah, the battles are really ensuing behind him, but it looks like Patrick has found his speed around Atlanta and now has found his preferred line around those corners, just sort of in the middle, not too high, not too low, like Hansel and Gretel there, just kind of riding his own line. We see a few battles are starting to brew right behind him. We see a battle for third starting to engage just a little bit there between the 8 car of Scott Taylor and I believe, or no, that's Lucas Whitehead and Tolier right there battling it out.
Yeah. I'm curious to see these two go at it. We've seen them go at it before, and they have no problem trading paint with each other, but, oh, man, watch out for the lap car.
You see, yeah, that was Alexis Molinax there. Alex Molinax, excuse me, giving her go here tonight. As Patrick said, you know, this track's difficult for a veteran like himself, so I can only imagine what she's having to fight through in the car, but we see a pass ensuing right here. You see the 2 car go up on the high side there, trying to make a pass there. I believe that is Tolier. They were in a really good qualifying laps, trying to lay that speed down here in the race, trying to get around Lucas Whitehead in that 8 machine. You see Lucas is going to go down to the inside there. try to cut off that draft. And that's one of the things that I learned from you, Patrick, throughout these broadcasts here is when you see that move there, you're really cutting off the air for that person behind you. But you see right now, Toyer's got a lot of speed in that 2 car. He's going to go to the inside here. I'm trying to make a pass on 3, going around 4 right now. Just doesn't have the speed in the corners. He's got a big runs coming off the corners, though, Patrick.
Yeah, and he definitely needs to make sure he holds in that turn. You saw he got that big run, and when he made that aggressive move there on the backstretch, man, you saw that front end of his car kind of pick up. That splitter came real high off that track. So he's got to be careful because, I mean, it will loosen that car up when that front bumper picks up. So, yeah, the best thing to do is kind of stay about 3/4 of the way behind him, you know, and kind of keep your eyeball for that inside line and then work your way around if that's how you're looking to pass. But yeah, it looks like Dylan Ellis kind of falling off there a little bit. Either that or we got Lucas Whitehead picking up a boatload of speed. He's already run the fastest lap on the track at a 31.753. So, yeah. The battle here for a second and third and fourth. Yeah, so these guys are about to put it down here, Will.
Yeah, and Tolier's got a lot of speed right there in that too. So I feel like if Lucas can get around Ellis there in the second position, Tolier should follow him right in that 2 machine. But you see him trying out different lines throughout here. I feel like it would be more at an advantage to get behind the 8 and try to push the 8 around that 99 and then make your move around Lucas.
Yeah, but he's really got to kind of pick and choose here. I do like Lucas taking that high side, you know, kind of being conservative of those tires. As you see, 99 might go in, try to throw up a little block there, try to keep him honest. But yeah, we're about to find out if Brian wants to work with him or against him, because this could be a 2-for-1 deal here, Will.
Looks like he wants to work against him here as Brian goes to the inside here around 3 and 4. Looks like Lucas is going to try to throw a block on the 8. Looks like he's just fading out just a little bit there. But with that, there goes the 2 of Tolier. And there goes Ellis around Patrick Hernandez, who's slowing down just a little bit in that lead position. Had no draft up there, Patrick. So I could see why it's a disadvantage to run in that clean air. As Tolier in that 2 is now going to be right behind Patrick Hernandez on the backstretch, but it looks like he had a bad run out of 2. Oh, goes to throw a block on the 8 of Lucas Whitehead, pushes him down the track there to the white line.
Yeah, well, a lot of moves here. Yeah, but yeah, I'm assuming Patrick Hernandez is probably okay with this move. He may go ahead and fall back in the draft because we know Patrick Hernandez as a long run guy. So, you know, as long as this thing stays under green flag, I believe Dylan Ellis may have his work cut out for him here in about 10 to 15 laps. Patrick Hernandez not letting up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, exactly what I was talking about. And Kyle, on the exit of that turn there, you're going to see him kind of start sliding up that track, especially if your entry's incorrect. So, yeah, Patrick Hernandez definitely walks out of that one unscathed.
Yeah, Patrick, what I'm noticing so far right now is as you see Patrick Hernandez with a huge run now out in that open air once again, Patrick Hernandez is leading the way here on lap 17 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You see he's back to running his preferred line here, Patrick, but that battle for third is still brewing back there between Tolier and Whitehead. Neither one of them wants to give up the position, but it feels like as this race is progressing and the equipment, you put more wear on the equipment in tonight's race, as you see Lucas is going to try to make a pass on Tolier there, thought about it. But one of the things that I've noticed so far here tonight, Patrick, is using that draft to your advantage. As you see the 2 car of Tolier is going to try to link up the back bumper of Ellis right here, try to use that draft into the corners, follow the same line around the corners, go up just a little bit high. So he might have wanted to stay behind that bumper just a little bit more square. He's going to try to take this run off of 2, try to get around Ellis here, but just not enough speed there on exit.
Yeah, you kind of see how that front end's kind of bouncing around a little bit there on the 2 car. He's taking his own line. I kind of like the way he's going. I think Lucas Whitehead's going to try to make a move on him here pretty soon. But yeah, definitely aggressive driving. I like where he's going. But man, we're already falling off by almost 2 seconds off Patrick Hernandez here. So these guys are going to have to kind of make sure they keep in contention here. Yeah, as Brian goes ahead and cuts off Lucas Whitehead again. I don't know how much more he's going to tolerate of that. You know, these guys are getting going pretty fast, and you know, you want to stay fast, you want to keep going, and not get in anybody's way. But man, this is really early in the race to be making that kind of move, because I believe we're coming up on that quarter mark.
Yes, sir, indeed we are. We're on lap 20 of 80 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. This race action is brought to you by the International Racing League and our wonderful partners AdminBoxx. And if you haven't checked out the AdminBoxx yet, definitely go ahead over to adminboxx.com. It's two X's. It's an HID device that's used for race control. So throwing all your yellow cautions, black flags, adding laps. It can be custom built for all your race control needs. So whatever you need it for, they can build it for you. It's USB plug and play, simple as just putting your machine on iRacing, driving our pit mode, and you are good to go. As you see the two-car bounce off the wall on exit there, Patrick. And if you want more information about the AdminBoxx, go head over to their website or Discord page. They can answer all the questions you might have. And if you're interested about purchasing one, use promo code 10-4-box. That's two X's on there. And Patrick, that was not good out of Brian Tollier there with that brush off the wall.
No, and you obviously see he does have some damage on that right front fender, and that's going to cost him. So, yeah, like you were saying with the aerodynamics, man, you start folding up these cars, it's really going to punish you. So, also something to keep in mind. With that damage, and not just the aerodynamics, this is also going to play into that tire wear. So, instead of the wind kind of going around the car, and kind of flowing around it in the shape that it is, it's now going to catch on that bumpy spot and where it's all crinkled up. It's going to start causing more drag, which means you got to turn even harder. And here we go back again with the right side tire issue, is if we're having to drag this around, this is going to be even harder to get around this track. So this is really going to limit his tire wear issues later on down the line. So if there is a caution, man, I mean, bar none, you've got to fix that right front damage to stay fast.
Yeah, Patrick, in a race that's so long, we're looking at around 80 laps, and we're only on lap 25. Would it be wise for a driver like that, you're running up there, you got the speeds to match the rest of the guys in the field? Would it be wise to head down pit road here pretty soon, get that taken care of, to kind of take that gamble to make sure that you're the last car standing?
Yeah, it might be an idea. I would be concerned pitting under green flag at this point. If you pit under green flag, within 30 seconds, you can be a lap down. As you see, Patrick Hernandez is turning a 31.872. So I believe he does have some fall off so far. 31.872 is his fastest lap. Right now, he's running a 33.4. So you do see the fall off when we over a second and a half, and Patrick Hernandez may still be in the lead, but he's fallen off. I mean, really, really bad here. So, but it's long run. Maybe he's trying to take it easy on his tires, but I probably wouldn't pit. I would probably hope for a caution, or because of that move, you may need to just only take right sides and spend the extra time that you have fixing some of that damage. Let the pit crew kind of hammer it out, kind of try to flatten it out, put some tape over it, make you more streamlined, and send you back out there. But man, that's a gamble, and it really cost you. But you see how one little mistake can almost cost you the race here, Will.
Yeah, Patrick. One of the things that I'm noticing here, almost up on lap 30 here, is Patrick gets out way by himself there. Open, clean air. It's almost like the air that you see up in Canada there. You have no pollution up there. It's nice and crispy. But one thing about being in that clean air all by yourself, Patrick, is you don't have any friends. And having no friends is never a good thing. And with that, you don't have anybody to either push you along on that backside draft, and you have nobody to work with. And you saw Patrick kind of lay off a little bit, let somebody catch up to him, battled for a little bit, and then use that air from that draft to slingshot him around. And that's what caused him to go back to a second and a half, 2-second lead. But now you see he's out in that open air all by himself. He has no draft partners. He has nobody pushing him along. You start seeing those lap times decrease just a little bit.
Yeah, and not just by a little bit. I mean, you also have the guy in second place doing the same exact thing with no help. So these guys are going to kind of be at a stalemate here until, one slips up, one makes a slight mess up, and they'll either get farther apart or closer together. I mean, Lucas Whitehead is putting down about a 10th second faster each lap, and I don't know if he has enough on the fuel tank to catch Patrick Hernandez, but I think after a strong pit stop, not missing his box, I think he's got a daggone good chance of catching him here, Will.
Of course, as Patrick Hernandez leads him down the backstretch here, Lucas Whitehead is in second position. And Patrick, would you want to be either Patrick Hernandez or Lucas Whitehead in this situation? Seeing as Patrick Hernandez is all by himself, he's in the lead, he's putting down more lead laps, he's building up that advantage, if you will. Or would you want to be Lucas Whitehead in the second position? Although you don't have anybody pushing you from behind, you can still catch that tail draft coming off of Patrick and reel him in a little bit more faster. Which car would you want to be in the situation?
Yeah, you don't actually start catching the draft till you're about maybe 0.4 of a second behind him. That's where you can start catching just the edges. Right now, they're kind of battling just themselves. If it were me, I would prefer to be Patrick Hernandez at this point. The way his race line has been tonight, I know his tires are withstanding the pressure. And he's going to make it a lot longer. But it's not going to work out too good when these two guys pit. And as here they come, Patrick Hernandez and Lucas Whitehead at the same time. So in the Lucas Whitehead position, this is exactly what you want. Is you want to see the leader pit so you know when to pit, so you don't fall behind. Right. As you can see the fall off. I mean, these guys are falling off almost 2.5 seconds on their fastest time. So if Patrick Hernandez pits, Lucas Whitehead stays out, he's going to lose 2.5 seconds as Patrick Hernandez is already on fresh tires. So, and then you're going to have Lucas Whitehead trying to run him down. So, yeah, to me, pit sooner, get it squared away, and get back out there, because this ain't over yet.
Oh, no, not at all, Patrick. And if we've known anything or learned anything from these past races here in the International Racing League, it really comes down to about the last 15 or 20 laps. Really, that's when you see the strategy come into play. You see the equipment come into play. You see the driver's skill showcase come into play there, Patrick. Every race we've done so far in International Racing League has been almost the same ending, where you start to see people sort of, the cream rise to the crop, if you will. You start seeing the best drivers starting to come out of the field. And tonight I feel like we're going to have the same thing here. Patrick Hernandez, even though he's led almost halfway through this race here tonight, I'm sure he's going to have a battle on his hands towards the end.
Yeah, and he's already got a battle here. Dylan Ellis did pit on lap 25, but you're about to see how
Right.
Patrick Hernandez, fresh tires, bang, right around. So, yeah, it just goes to show you what five lap fresher tires is doing. And it's nothing against Dylan Ellis. I mean, he's running strong, hard laps all race. But, yeah, it's timing. And I think Dylan may have gotten a little bit of trouble, earlier in the race, kind of might have rubbed the wall a little bit, and now we're starting to fall back, because he's already about over half a second off Patrick Hernandez as he's Hernandez back up close to that wall. So, man, he noticed he likes that line. That thing's working out pretty good for him, as we're going to go ahead and take a quick ride with him on the inside of the car. Let's see how he feels about this.
And I love these onboard cameras, these cockpit shots, if you will. And these onboard cameras are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll take a listen here of how he takes these corners around the A. As you see, he's way up on that top side, as Patrick mentioned. And Patrick, I feel like, he called Phoenix his playground, but he's sure having fun here at Atlanta.
Yeah, and he's taking it really, really close to that wall. So, man, I mean, I give it to him for being able to handle this car around the track here, man. That's close. Especially, remember what I was saying about pit entry right there. You got a little bit of a bump, and you see it gets real close on the exit of this turn. Now, I don't know about you, but I pucker every time right there. Right there, man. It just makes me nervous when you get that close. But, hey, he's laying down some solid times here, as that last lap there was a 32.2. So, I mean, he's still running fast here, Will.
And one of the things that I noticed, Patrick, and one of the things that I've noticed in a few of these cautions that we call in some of these other leagues, and things that I noticed out of other drivers, is one thing that stands out for me as we took an onboard ride there with Patrick Hernandez, is his feather touch on the wheel. You don't see that wheel barely moving at all. You can tell that he's got almost like a feather grip on that wheel, almost like a real NASCAR driver. He's not jerking it around. He's not making big movements with the wheel. He's got a very sensitive touch on that wheel. And what you see out of that, Patrick, is it causes him to run, almost stick to the track here, run that top side lane there, run inches from the outside wall there, because he knows how confident he is behind that wheel, and he's not going to make any sudden movements to cause him to brush off anything.
Yeah, and that's just with experience, man. You get these guys that kind of up that steering ratio a little bit, and then that way you can conserve tires even more. It does require you to turn it a little bit more for the sim, but it's not as hard on the tires as you would expect. But I would definitely keep an eye on Lucas Whitehead here. I mean, he is reeling Patrick Hernandez, and I don't know if he's toying with him, but he ran almost 0.8 of a second faster last lap. So Lucas Whitehead has really got to rocket up that car. Whatever adjustments they made in pit, it's working right now. Because, I mean, he's only about 1.3 off off Patrick Hernandez, and he was about 3 seconds off about two or three laps ago. So he's running the hot laps right now. I'm interested to see, because it's right there. Patrick Hernandez turned to 32.5, and Lucas turned to 32 even. So, I mean, he shaved off half a second on that lap. So whatever he's doing, you know, he's either being really aggressive on this car, and those tires are about to pay for it, long run style, or whatever adjustment. Like I said, whatever adjustment he has is working.
He is definitely in contention here tonight as they are rounding around the corner here onto the front stretch here, folks. We are creeping up to halfway here in the Atlanta 80. This action is brought to you by the International Racing League here live on 10-4 Broadcasting. And we want to invite you, if you like what you're seeing here tonight, go give us a look-see on Facebook at 10-4 Broadcasting on there, as well as our YouTube page. Hit all those buttons on there, like, share, subscribe, and that little notification bell. We got quite the weekend of racing coming up, Patrick. I believe you are back up in the booth on Saturday for the Powerhouse Racing League. We have 2 races on tomorrow night. We have a championship race in the High Octane Sim Series. We're back with the Eastern Late Model Series as well on Friday night. And then Sunday, back to those open-wheeled modifieds. But Patrick, as you mentioned, Lucas Whitehead has found that speed. He's right on the back bumper of Patrick Hernandez.
Oh, yeah. Now's a beautiful time to get right behind him. So now you can kind of conserve, take it easy, follow behind him, and use that draft. Yeah, I don't know if I would take the lead at this point. I mean, you finally caught him, but you may be paying for it later. So, yeah, right now I would kind of take it easy and kind of putt behind him probably for another 5 to 10 laps. And then I'd make my move. Because, yeah, the pit stops were about even. And they got around, but man, whatever it was, Lucas Whitehead fell off during pit, and now he's caught up something fierce. So, like I said, other than tire wear, right now that adjustment is working. I'm liking what I'm seeing here, Will.
As we're heading around 3 and 4 here, your race winner or race leader right now is Patrick Hernandez. Gets Lucas Whitehead right in that second position in that 8 machine. Got Ellis, who we saw get past when Patrick Hernandez came out of pit with those fresh tires, in third. Got Kuzlowski in fourth. Tollier has dropped down to fifth there, Patrick. Stone Hutchinson is our first car a lap down. And then Alex Molnax is another car lap down in seventh position. And then Taylor, man, what a disappointing run it is out of his machine here tonight in the 8th position. But now you see Patrick, he kind of waited for Lucas to catch up to him, and now you're starting to see him pull away just a little bit, but it looks like Lucas is getting a lot more speed on those corners.
Yeah, he's diving into those turns, which is pretty good. I don't think Lucas seems real comfortable up there at the high side. The only way he's going to capitalize at this point is you have to run Patrick Hernandez's line. You got to stay with him, for the next couple of runs. Stay behind that car, keep it straight, and then make your move on the next turn. Kind of flying solo out there on the low end is just it's hurting him more than doing good.
You see Lucas now trying the low side here around 3 and 4. I feel like Patrick Hernandez is going to gain a lot of speed here on the exit of the corner. You see right here, see when they come out of 4, Patrick's got a lot more speed, as Patrick's going to lead them down into 1 and 2 here, folks, as we've crossed the threshold of halfway here at the A, as Patrick Hernandez is going to lead them down the backstretch here. He's got Lucas Whitehead right there, but as these laps progress here, as you mentioned there, Patrick, Lucas has to start running that same line as Patrick, or he's not going to have enough speed to get around him.
No, he's not, and that's what I know. Guys get a little aggressive and they kind of try to take it low, but unfortunately, your car just doesn't have enough speed, and you got to come to at points you got to come to grips with that. You're behind the guy. You went really fast, but notice how all of a sudden now we're starting to slow down. We're stuck at that half-second mark, and remember what I was saying about that half-second to 4/10. You got to be behind that guy to really start eating up that draft. So you see Patrick Hernandez starting to pull away here, and pulling away, and now all of a sudden you're going to be left stranded. So if he did, torch his tires on the way around here, man. Yeah, he's about to get left in the dust, which is really going to hurt for pit times.
Gosh, left in the dust for sure, Patrick. And you see Kuzlowski's trying to catch him in that 3rd position. But as we have an opportunity to simmer down here in the action at Atlanta Motor Speedway, we are going to take one break here and hear from our awesome partners, AdminBoxx.
we are back. Taking a quick look at Adam Kulikowski here, kind of rocking around here in the third position. I mean, he's about 19 seconds behind Patrick Hernandez. Definitely didn't work out. You saw kind of that little mix up there, Will, when they were, got off the line and kind of folded the car up a little bit. But rocking around in Adam's case here, rolling around in that 28 car, what would you think you would need to do to kind of really start picking up the pace here, and get caught up?
Well, Patrick, I really like his endurance here tonight. As you mentioned, he got caught up in that first accident there to start things off. You saw that front end was really crumbled in. But yet he's worked his way up into third. We saw some other drivers battling it out for the third position. One of the drivers has slipped all the way down to about 6th or 7th. As you've seen, Lucas Whitehead's going to go ahead and get his last pit stop out of the way here down pit road. And for a driver like him, I would really say for him to gain more I'm getting tongue-tied here, Patrick. So excited. More momentum here. Just to keep his cool, stay as collected as he's been throughout this race here tonight. You've seen it out of him to climb up into the third position. You almost feel like if he puts that strategy in when to pit, he could really battle for second. It's going to be hard to catch Patrick there in the lead position unless something catastrophic happens to Patrick there leading the way in that 19 machine. But for a guy like that to start gaining that speed is what I would say, Patrick, is just to keep running those same lines you've been running. I mean, it's worked out so far here tonight. You've now worked up yourself into second position. Just keep running those lines. Keep your cool. As you see now, he's got some competition behind him. But I'd say, for him to work his way back up into the podium after what happened on the first lap, hats off to him.
Yeah, and I think the only way that, Kulikowski might have a good shot at this is short pit. I think of Adam there, and the 28 car goes ahead and takes right side tires at the same time Patrick Hernandez pits. That's got to be the key. Is you have to wait for Patrick Hernandez to pit the leader, because they're the only two left on the same lap. On the lead lap, if you can pit at the same time, only take right sides and get back out there, I think you got a daggone good chance of hanging out with Lucas Whitehead in the third position and be much closer, because they may have to touch pit one more time before the end of this, Will.
Yeah, and I believe with those green flag pit stops, that put Dylan Ellis here in that 99 machine a lap down as well. So a lot of cars that we saw battling to start off the first half of this race are now a lap down because of those green flag pit stops, and they're all waiting for Patrick to go down pit road to gain those laps back here on lap 49. We were almost at the 50. Yep, there we go. Lap 50 here at the A. And man, Patrick, we're still waiting on Patrick Hernandez to head down pit road.
Yeah, and we'll kind of take a little peek here. You see everything in the yellow up there on that ticker. That is the last lap they picked. So you can see Scott Taylor, unfortunately, that didn't work out well for him at the beginning. Stone Hutchinson, the 38. But you do see Dylan Ellis here at lap 41. Lucas Whitehead at 47. But your top three up here have yet to pit. So, I mean, you see the strategy just playing out here. I don't know how long or how far we can make these cars go here, Will.
Yeah, it's going to be a gamble here. We're not at Vegas anymore here, folks. As you see, Patrick Hernandez is starting to take just a little bit of a gamble here, Patrick, because we're only going to have about 30 laps to go. So you got to think that pit window is starting to close just a little bit here, as you just showed there with that graphic. And with that opportunity, you're going to give some other guys a chance to not only get by you, but put some distance between you and that 19. So it's, as we mentioned just a little while ago, I feel like this race is going to come down to the last couple laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a fight here as you see Lucas Whitehead. You kind of tune into him here a little bit. He's running a 31.9 on that last one, and Patrick Hernandez just ran a 33.2. So you do see, the best bet of getting fresh tires, but he's a lap down now. So now he's got to be twice as fast with Patrick Hernandez pitting, which, right now, Patrick Hernandez, I think, has this one in the bag due to his strategy. He's going to wait as long as he can, and what ends up happening is Lucas Whitehead's tires are going to start wearing out. They're going to start wearing down. He's going to pit when he absolutely has to, and he's going to be the fast one on the track, because if he's having to chase Lucas Whitehead down, he's going to have tires that are almost 15 laps fresher. And we already see the fall off of almost 2 seconds in a matter of 18 to 24 laps here. So, yeah, I think Patrick Hernandez might just have this one right here in the bag, Will. Because, I mean, his strategy that him and the pit crew, Chief, are just working this to a T.
And here he comes right now, folks. That 19 of Patrick Hernandez is going to go ahead and get that green flag pit stop out of the way here on lap 55. And as Patrick mentioned, the second place car of Lucas Whitehead is now going to have to close a gap of around 19 seconds as he got that lap back there, Patrick. Actually, it's about 25 seconds. So we'll see how far ahead Lucas can get around Patrick here, if any, because he's got to go all the way around the track and catch Patrick here. So it's going to be pretty close. And as you mentioned, when Patrick comes out of pit road here, he's going to have freshies all across the board. He's going to have a full fuel tank. He's going to have fresh tires. He's going to be ready to rock and roll. We'll keep an eye out here to see when Lucas comes into play here. Still not seeing that 8 machine just yet. There he goes, right on the corner of the screen. So not much of a gap there, Patrick.
No, it's not. It was interesting. I was kind of keeping an eye on Patrick Hernandez kind of revving up there in pit. So I guess when they drop that jack, man, he's already ready to go because he knows he's going to have to run him down. So far, you do see Patrick getting up to speed, about 4 seconds behind. But we'll have to see. I mean, you do see Patrick Hernandez pit on lap 56, Lucas Whitehead on 47. So, yeah.
About an 11 lap difference there.
Yeah, Lucas is going to really have to, I mean, he's going to have to hammer down to stay out front, but he's got to conserve his tires because that's what he's got going against him now is Patrick Hernandez's tires are brand spanking new as he's reeling them in less than 4 seconds, so he's about 3.9 now, running them down. Man,
yeah, he's going to come out of the pits like a rocket there. Cute. Shout out to Elon Musk there because you're going to see that type of speed out of Patrick here with freshies, everything. It's going to close that gap on Lucas Whitehead here. I'd say in the next few laps. He's going to be on that back bumper here probably in the next 4 or 5 laps. And then it's going to be a battle, folks. I mean, with less than 24 or 20 laps to go here, 23 around that range, it's going to be quite the finish, but I feel like once Patrick gets around Lucas there, he's not going to look back.
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, he's looking right out the front. The only one I think who's staring in his rearview mirror right now is Lucas Whitehead and that 8 machine. Man, that's just got to be a terrible feeling where, you know, you're sitting there and you're just praying for a caution. Please, somebody just, you know, something bad happen. That way I can get a second chance, you know, because if Lucas can go ahead and pit, you know, and get another set of tires, you know, and just enough fuel to make it to the end, you know, then I think it'll be a shootout with the entire field. You know, Adam Kulikowski will end up getting the lucky dog, so he'll be back on the lead lap, and then it'll just be the 3 of them. You know, and man, what a nail biter that would be. But I just don't think so. This track is getting is there's too much track, too little time. You know, and it's just not enough for these guys to get caught up here. Will.
And folks, we got 20 laps to go here. Shout out to Stella in the chat. Said, hooray, we're halfway and we're racing. So that was back on lap 40 there. So that's definitely a throwback to what we saw on Monday night where a fan just endured that race there. Patrick has a lot of views on the video. We feel like it may be the IndyCar series is very popular, but been pretty much a green flag race here, Patrick, other than the start of the race here tonight. And we've seen Patrick Hernandez lead the majority of the race, but now he's having to play catch-up here.
Yeah, I mean, just he's only behind by a second. So we're going to take a quick peek here, and you're just going to see him just kind of absolutely reeling him in here. So you see that conservative line. I do like seeing that. You see him come around, yeah, see him just reeling that car in. So, yeah, I think he's making Lucas Whitehead look like a sitting duck here, as he's got him by just about half a second here. One more turn, and he should just about have him.
Yeah, with creeping up with 18 laps to go here as they head down into round 2 here. Patrick's got that speed out of the exit of 2. Going to try to reel him in right on here on the back stretch. He is right on that back bumper, folks, heading down into 3. Patrick Hernandez has now closed the gap on Lucas Whitehead as they turn around 3, around 4. And there goes Patrick to the outside, and Lucas heads down pit road once again here. Whoa. That's basically going to seal the deal here for Lucas Whitehead. And Patrick Hernandez is now all by himself out in the lead. He has nobody around him now. You can start putting on that smooth jazz, sipping on some Puree water up there, because I feel like he can kick back on that lazy boy. He's got this race all but wrapped up.
Yeah, and that just comes from strategy. You know, being able to get around like that, and man, talk about Lucas Whitehead. Really surprising to see him go ahead and pit like that. I figured he would have kind of snuck up behind Patrick Hernandez and tried to use the draft just to hang on. But I don't know. I mean now what? Yeah, Lucas Whitehead, he's only got tires that are 6 laps fresher, but he's now a lap down, and he's going to be really in the hole here.
Yeah, but it could be the flip side of what we just saw there, Patrick. Patrick Hernandez stayed out a lot longer than him, or Lucas there in that number 8 machine. It could be the flip side where Lucas wants to get some freshies on his car, get back on the track, and now chase down Patrick with a fresh set there. So it could be almost the flip side of the strategy that we saw of Patrick Hernandez.
Yeah, and I think I think he's about 7 seconds off second place now. So, yeah, he's got his work cut out for him trying to run down Adam Kulikowski now, which pit on lap 55. 1 lap before Patrick there in the 19 machine. But, yeah, it's interesting to see because it...
Yeah, with 16 laps to go, Patrick, that is definitely a bold strategy there, but... As I've mentioned it in the past before, it paid off for the Average Joe's Dodgeball team, so we'll see if it pays off for Lucas Whitehead here tonight in the International Racing League. As you see, he's now down into 3rd position here, Patrick, and as we have a second there, maybe we'll filter through the rest of the drivers here in the field in the International Racing League. As we're taking a look at Lucas Whitehead here in the 3rd position, we'll go ahead and filter down into Ellis there in the, I believe that is Kuczelowski there in 2nd. Ellis in the 99 is in 4th position. I believe this is Brian Tollier has slipped down into 5th, I believe, Patrick?
Yes. Yeah, he's down there in the 5th position.
Man, 2 laps down. It's not the way that we saw him start this race off. Was racing for the lead there for a while, or for 2nd position. Thought he had the fastest car on the track there, brushed the wall, and it really cost him a lot in tonight's race. Taking a look at Alex Molinex here, decided to hop in the car for her dad in tonight's event. We've seen her just not run her best race here tonight at Atlanta, but as we've talked about with all these drivers across all these leagues, it all comes down to practice, practice, practice. Shout out to Allen Iverson, because we are talking about practice here in iRacing, and the more practice that you have in these race cars, the better you get throughout the years. And you see it, and Patrick Hernandez has been racing on these machines for 15 years, so we see the experience really come out when he gets behind the race car. So all our praise goes to Alex there, Molinex, in that 9 machine. The more she races, I think the better she'll get here on the track. And that basically, and then we look at Stone Hutchinson down there in the 7th position, and then Taylor in the 8th position there, Patrick. And for Stone Hutchinson, it's really disappointing, and for Taylor there to round out the field here tonight. 2 drivers that we've seen really race strong here the past couple of weeks, not having their best weeks here at Atlanta.
No, with Patrick Hernandez as the exception. I mean, he's been doing great so far. But yeah, it does, like I was saying before, it doesn't look good from the standings point of view that Patrick Hernandez is the only one on the lead lap. Yeah, it doesn't, but it just goes to show the type of race he's raced here tonight at the A. It just really laid it down here. As we see, Lucas Whitehead's not going to go to the inside here of the 28 machine. He's going to go ahead and make that pass here on the front stretch. Now, Lucas looks like he has a lot of speed now, Patrick, in that race car, but as you mentioned, he is now a lap down because of that green flag pit stop. So he's going to have to hope that Patrick heads down pit road, or he can catch him here. But he is running out of laps, Patrick, as we only have 11 laps to go here in the Atlanta 80. Yeah, and you see here, man, Patrick Hernandez here, I mean, with 10 to go, I mean, and he's already got so much room. I think Lucas Whitehead is 11 seconds behind him and a lap down. So, I mean, he's got this in the bag. I mean, it would require a mechanical failure or an absolute catastrophe at this point, because him taking this very, ooh, boy, as you see him kind of kiss it off that wall there. Hopefully I didn't curse him with a mechanical failure. Oh, no. Man, yeah, but you see he just gets a little loose there, and I think, I would assume Patrick Hernandez is going to definitely try to stretch this. Because it may be a really bad idea to pit, just in case if something happens, because, Lucas Whitehead.
Whoa, no! no! Oh no, he's having some steering issues there, Patrick, and we see him hit the wall hard on the backstretch there. Came stumbling and bumbling into the entrance of 3. Oh man, that's going to come into play here, Patrick. There's probably some damage on that race car.
Oh, definitely. And man, I definitely wouldn't want to be in his shoes right now. The only way as a crew chief to really fix this is you see he's having trouble coming out of these turns. That's why I was saying with an issue with the exit. I think it would be a good idea for him to come in and short pit. Come in, drop a set of right side tires, fix up that damage, and get going because Lucas Whitehead isn't getting any slower. He's 8 seconds behind in the lap down, but he's already going to scoop up that lap if he pits.
Folks, we are seeing Patrick Hernandez in that 19 who has led the majority of the race here tonight really struggle with that race car here now at Atlanta with less than 6 laps to go. Is really fighting that thing around the track. You see him on the exit of the corners really trying to have to fight it off the wall. You saw him brush up against the wall just there just a little while ago. So I'm stumbling into 3 and 4 here. Now he seems, comes really close to that outside wall once again, Patrick, but this is not the clean racing we saw out of him to start the race here tonight. Really fighting that thing around the track as you see him make contact once again here on the apex of 3. Man, he's really fighting that thing around the track, but as you mentioned, Patrick, you want to keep that thing out there and possibly win this race, but man, he's got some work to do, not with the other cars on the track, but with that machine itself.
Yeah, and he's really having a lot of trouble here, man. Like I said, I think a good strategy would be just bring it into pit, put a set of right sides, and gun it because he's running out of time. You know, if he's making it on fuel, you know, if you think of, boy, man.
Whoa!
Man,
it's the wall again there on 3.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. That car will cut a tire, and then that'll put him completely out, and then really kind of have him on the back foot here, Will. I just don't know how much more, because you see he's turning, but that car isn't. He's trying, but yeah, he's just, that tire just ain't got enough to get around this track.
We'll see what happens with Alex Molinax right there on the inside. See if Patrick has any problems with that race car. If he collects Alex there in that 9, like Alex is going to try to stay out of his way there. As you see, he's going to go really high up on the track, see if he makes contact once again. But Patrick, what this enables him now, is he's having to fight the wheel a lot, which is going to cost him a lot of lap speed. But folks, we got less than 4 laps to go here at the A. We'll see if Patrick Hernandez can hold on to this race victory here. As you see him really struggling here the last couple laps. He's bounced off the wall a few times. I think he's put some damage on that race car as well, Patrick. But it looks like he's going to take that gamble and keep that car out on the track.
Yeah, with 4 to go here, man, it's a crapshoot. I mean, you see him kind of trying to stay on that one groove where you kind of see lane 1, 2, and 3 on the way up the track. He's staying between the second and third groove, but even turning, you just see the car just riding up the track, and he isn't really slowing down. He's staying about a consistent 33 seconds around this track, so, you know, he is about, half a second slower than Lucas Whitehead at this point, which is only 3 seconds behind him. But yeah, with 3 to go, yeah, Patrick might go ahead and just stay out and let her eat. Yeah, as long as he doesn't hit the wall and kind of spin off and ruin the car, he may just go ahead and try to gamble, not cutting that tire down, Will.
Yeah, rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt here as we have 3 laps to go, but Patrick Hernandez is going to cross that start-finish line here with 2 laps to go here in the Atlanta 80. Still trying to fight that race car around the track here. He's got a lap difference on Lucas Whitehead, so right now that window is about to slam shut for Lucas here. If Patrick can keep this thing clean and cross the start-finish line here, he's going to hold a big lead on Lucas. It's going to take Patrick crashing that race car here for Lucas to have an opportunity to win this race here tonight. But man, Patrick, he is having to fight that thing around the track here, but we're going to come around turn number 4 here to the start-finish line here. He's going to take that heat wave design white flag here as he heads down into 1.
Man, yeah, and you kind of see it's folded up there, but yeah, he's got to be enjoying this. I mean, right here, close to the end, Lucas Whitehead doesn't have a chance. But hey, good run by him, trying to keep it out of there. Yeah, just folks, what a handful this race has been here, Will.
And folks, I know what Patrick Hernandez is going to be bumping here when he finishes the race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and that's Drake back-to-back, because he is going to be a back-to-back winner here in the International Racing League. He takes the checkered flag here at the Atlanta 80 in the International Racing League.
Man, Lucas Whitehead just his crew's got to be shaking his head on the little bit of the strategy there. It's so close yet so far away. you almost thought he had it. But hey, look at it this way, man. You're a lap down and still came in second place. I mean, that's something. You know, with Adam in the 28 machine, still third place, a lap down.
Yeah.
Dylan Ellis, you know, a guy we talked about a little bit there, fourth place. I mean, rock and roll, guys. I mean, yeah, heck of a race. I mean, a lot of unfortunate events there right at the beginning really, you know, screwed a lot of people up. But hey, you came in and really stuck it to it. Doink.
Yeah, and that a way to hang in there as well, Patrick. You know, fighting through adversity here, especially Lucas Whitehead and that 28 machine of Adam Kuzlaska. I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. We'll get a chance to speak with him in just a minute there as we're watching Patrick Hernandez burn it down here on the start-finish line. But what a way to stick in there, Patrick. You know, a lot of drivers would give up. You know, you're lapped down, the race is not going your way. You know that Patrick Hernandez is probably going to take home the race victory here as we see him burning it down here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But as you said, hats off to those guys for sticking in the race here tonight. And man, he is burning it down. He is celebrating those back-to-back wins.
Yeah, might as well, man, because he wasn't so sure he was going to win this thing.
No, we did hear a little bit of, I don't know, in his voice, which I love out of Patrick Hernandez. He always has that same mindset, that same, that the oh shucks attitude, if you will. But then when you see him race, he is a rocket around the track. And like he likes to say, his car was on rails here tonight, and it looked that way here at Atlanta.
Yeah, and then what a race. I mean, what a race. He did a great job, even through hitting the wall a few times. I mean, that was something. I mean, I'm hitting the wall, staying out, you know, and not kind of short pitting there. I mean, like I said, I would have short pit just to make sure I kept it off the wall. I mean, a couple good more hits there, and he may have ended up in some real trouble. But you know, for him to really take it there is yeah, that was a run, Will. That was a run. Have you I think you're rocking and rolling down there. You caught up with the third place?
I believe we have caught up with our third place finisher here, and I believe I'll get an opportunity to pronounce his name right here. We are joined by the 28 machine driver, and Adam, just so that we're clear up here in the booth, how do you pronounce your last name? Yep. I think Adam might be muted on his microphone there. Patrick will take an opportunity for just a second there to get Adam back on the radio. But as we're waiting for Adam to come on the radio here, I believe we're going to hear from our sponsors one more time. We'll be right back with the Podium Finishers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like Adam is back in the pits, so we can't get him on the radio just yet. But in the meantime, Patrick, I believe you have caught Lucas Whitehead down on pit road, and I believe coming home second here tonight, fought his way back up through the field. I am curious to see what he has to say here in tonight's action.
Yeah, I'm here.
How did you feel, you know, about that pit strategy? It just had to be heartbreaking right there toward the end.
Man, I'd pulled him in on spots. I was gaining ground on him, and I was like, he started walking back on me, and I calculated it wrong. It just showed my inexperience. I pitted too soon. I was just trying to do something different. I thought maybe if I get on a different rotation and I can get out ahead of him when he pits, I can maybe hold him off, and it just showed. But thankfully, I was able to pull it back to at least get second back.
Yeah, I figure a caution was kind of what you were hoping on there. We saw you driving pretty aggressive there. It looked like Patrick Hernandez was taking that little more of that conservative route toward the top end, but man, you were really reeling him in on that low end. Was tires as big of a factor as I thought they were this race?
Yeah, they definitely would eat up. You had to drive that car a lot with your throttle. You could feel it sliding and slipping quite frequently. But I hate it, but it is what it is.
Hey, even a lap down, you still place second, and yeah, that's hard to say. It was a good race by Patrick, but a better one by
Yeah.
you. Your pit strategy did work. Pitting later there toward the end, and then really kind of, giving that shootout, to reel in Adam Kulikowski there, man. That just, I wasn't sure if you were going to come in third or second, but then you just kind of pulled away and really took advantage of that situation.
Yeah, I was praying Patrick would have a little bit of issues, hoping he'd get into that wall up there where he was riding so high. I definitely could tell I was faster than him in 1 and 2 with the line I took, and then it seemed like I gained on him in 3 and 4 down low. So I was just trying to alternate my lines than what he was doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And man, what a he did run. If you go back and watch the broadcast, you'll see. And I believe in the last 10 laps or so, he had trouble keeping it off that wall. I mean, he chewed up the right front of that car. Trying to make sure he stayed out in front of you. So, not only veteran moves, but he was sacrificing the car and his spot to make sure he stayed out front. So, you can't say he wasn't nervous.
Yeah, definitely. And he's been at this quite a while. Like I said, this is my 4th week on iRacing, so I still got a lot more to learn and progress at, but I feel like I'm doing all right.
Yeah, and not bad. I mean, it will take time. The veterans always say that, and even new, you don't want to hear that. You want to kind of push forward and keep, win every one of them. But still a second place finish tonight out of that 8 machine. You got to be proud of that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely proud of it. Just like we said earlier, I just wish that we could have gave everybody watching a little bit of a better race if I would have done a different strategy with Patrick. I feel like I should have just stayed out with him and let him walk away a little ways. And I'm pretty sure by the way I was driving, I could have reeled him back in, but it was just heat of the moment I went for it, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I would really like to see a caution there at the end. Everybody pit and get tires, and then it'd be the shootout we were hoping for. But yeah, still top 3 podium finish, man. So as usual, is when you get to place up here and come up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth, we'll go ahead and give you a few moments to give a few shout outs.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my buddy Stone. He Hutchin that races with us. He's one that kind of got me into this, and Dylan Ellis, as well, is a good buddy of mine that races in this league. He's been really helpful getting this set up for me and getting me going. And all my buddies back home watching on here, I just give them a big shout out and appreciate their support.
Cool. Yeah, I believe you might want to give a shout out to Austin Whitehead in the chat here, kind of rooting for you as well.
My cousin, yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, well, that would be Lucas Whitehead, your second place finisher. Appreciate you coming out tonight, bud.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Patrick, and what a run it was out of Lucas Whitehead there. As you were speaking with him there, he tried some bold strategies there, as we talked about throughout the broadcast. Almost a shout out to the Average Joe's dodgeball team there. And he knows he's getting better at it here. He knows that he may have made the wrong move there, but still coming home with a second place finish and working your way back up through the field, even a lap down. I mean, finishing second's no small feat.
No, not at all. And I mean, just difficulties around the track. I mean, I give it to him for trying a different strategy, because Patrick Hernandez is a tough one to beat. And to come up with a different idea or a different way of trying to reel him in, to capture him and really overtake is you got to tip your hat to Lucas Whitehead and his crew of, maybe, if there was a caution, this could have played out perfectly for him. Patrick Hernandez may have needed to pit and rolled in the back, and then he had fresh tires, and he would have been off to the races. So, it's sometimes you just got to switch it up a little bit. He still plays second, and you got to look forward to next week.
Indeed, but it is time to speak to our back-to-back winner here in the International Racing League. We saw him in the Indy cars on Monday. We saw him last Thursday pick up a huge win. We saw him just a few weeks before that pick up another win. And Patrick Hernandez, you have gone back-to-back here in the International Racing League. Take us through your dominance here at the A and what led you to win the race here tonight.
Slick. Man, I was trying my best to keep the car off the wall, but man, the car was the car had a mix of being tight on N3 and loose on exit, and in the last 30 laps, I lost the count of how many times I hit the wall. The 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 car was really loose there, so I slowed down the pace and nursed it home because in one of the hits I almost spun. So man, I don't know. It was um, I was I was surprised that I didn't spawn on the race because man, I was having a hard time uh, getting the control of the car exiting turn two. That was my worst part of the track. So um, I made a good effort. I drive cautiously, without pushing too much, because the last thing that I wanted to do was to spin around and I managed to get the win.
Yeah, we saw that throughout the race. I was almost interested. I was curious to speak with you here. I knew you were going to finish in the podium somewhere, so I knew I was going to get an opportunity to ask you this. Throughout the race, we saw you kind of build up that lead like you usually do by a few seconds, but then we saw you kind of drift back a little bit, let the other guys catch up to you. Was that sort of part of your strategy there of getting some more speed off the draft and maybe slingshotting around some cars to gain some more momentum as we saw you out there in that open air by yourself for a while? Your lap time started to drift down a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was trying to match the gap. Uh, um, I knew that the guy behind me was far away from me, and he was catching me, but I had in my like okay, he's burning his stuff. You keep doing what you've been doing, and that's exactly what happened. Instead of going like um, full pace the entire run, I was trying to save tires. Trying to go it safe. And it pay off. Because at some points, Lucas catch me, and then I noticed that he started burning his stuff, and then I just sail away and and open the gap back again. Uh, that was part of my strategy. Trying to save tires, trying to keep the car from spinning out because man, it was really slick.
It was really slick there. And, we see you racing here with a few of these rookies here. We just spoke to Lucas Whitehead there that finished in second, did a great job of working his way back up into the field. And unfortunately, did finish a lap down, but he was right there with you most of the race. And we talked with him about, he actually mentioned how he may have pit just a little bit early. Is this sort of the things that, where your experience comes into play here, where you know when to pit, you know when to race the car hard, you know when to kind of like close that gap, as you just mentioned?
Yeah, sure. I saw him like pitting like way too early, and I said, okay, he's gonna pit too early. That gives me space to keep running laps. And by the time I had to make my pit stop, he had like 10, 11 laps on his tires. So when I get out of pit, like I was like chilling. I wasn't pushing too much, and I passed him like right by in a couple laps. Um, and that was the same thing that I was telling Lucas earlier. Like uh, the undercut intention was good, but he made it way too early, and that just leave me the door open to just to open the big gap, then manage that gap, and you know, and
Yeah.
and having the fresh tires.
Well, yeah, you definitely did it here tonight, and I believe my co-host Patrick Morrison has a question for Patrick here. I'm joined with the two Patricks up here in the booth. You got Patrick Morrison, Patrick Hernandez, and Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bud, you and I seem to do a whole lot of talking together. Yeah, great run tonight, bud. I mean, I was telling everybody during the broadcast, I think your line is going to be the one that wins it because taking the high line, conserving your tires, but man, being able to stay out front for that long without without damage, without fuel mileage being a huge concern is really quite the feat to be able to go ahead and pull that off. We were nervous, and I thought you might short pit there toward the end and get right side tires just to keep it off that wall. But yeah, definitely a gamble that you won on tonight.
Yeah, man. What can I tell you? Like I hope, like
I know what you
I
can
have to
tell
be
me.
honest. I have to be honest. These guys that are coming in, man, they're quicker than me. Lucas dealing with fighting with me at some point of the race, but they lack the experience, and that's what I will be trying to help them, like give them every tip, any trick on the book that I know, so they can be competitive, but yeah, I open the gap just because of their mistakes, because if if they know how to do stuff well, man, they're gonna give me a run for my money. That's for sure.
Yeah. Now, run for your money will be next week. I believe you are at Richmond.
Yeah, I
You,
believe so. Yeah,
yeah, you feeling
I
confident
don't
about that?
remember. Richmond on this car, I feel confident. I haven't made a lot of races at Richmond on the Xfinity. I have done a lot of truck racing there, but I feel confident that in Richmond I can pull another great run. I don't know if I'm gonna win. I don't know. Uh, Things can happen, and the outcome of a race can change real quick. But I think I'm gonna have enough for a top five.
Oh yeah.
And talking about money there, Patrick, we have a money race coming up on next Friday there. We're going to close out High Octane Sim Series on Friday, and then they're running a money race on Friday night as well. So we'll have to put a little bug in Patrick's ear here to see if maybe he's available on Friday nights and put him in that 10-4 broadcasting car.
Man, I would love to do it, but I already I'm already committed to another league, so I think I'm not gonna be able to do it. But man, I appreciate the invitation, man. I really appreciate it. Maybe I can do one off in the future. I'm always open to that kind of stuff.
Of course. Well, Patrick, you come away here the winner at Atlanta. You're a back-to-back winner here in the International Racing League. And like always, I think you know the drill here with your third win on the season. We do love to give you guys that opportunity to shout out anybody that you might have had watching and some sponsors you have on that car.
Sponsors, I don't have. People watching today, I don't have anyone. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the league. To everyone that takes their time to spend here and have a nice time. So thanks to them to making this possible, and thanks to you guys for the nice broadcasting.
Of course, Patrick. We look forward to seeing what you have in store for Richmond next week. And then we're creeping up to the start of the IndyCar season in July. So we'll be curious to see what you have in store for us in that league as well. But a big congratulations from us up here in the booth. You are a back-to-back winner here, your third win in the season and 5 races so far here in the International Racing League. You are definitely the top dog here in this series. And you have a great rest of your night. And we look forward to next week.
Thank you guys. See you all next week. Have a nice one.
That was Patrick Hernandez. He once again comes home with the race victory here, Patrick, and he did it in style like he always does. He didn't go wire to wire, but I'd say he led about 85-90% of the laps here and ran his own line as you asked him there, ran that topside lane most of the race, and what that really enabled, Patrick, is that nobody could really follow him up there.
No, and be able to kind of take the race at your own pace, knowing that, he's not cocky. He doesn't say, I've got this whole thing. But he is paying attention. When you heard he was saying, I got, Lucas Whitehead kind of taking a peek at me. He's starting to catch up, but I know if I stay in my line, he'll burn his tires up. And that just comes from just one word, experience. He's able to hang out there, stay calm, cool, and collected, and do what needs to be done. Hit your marks, keep your times consistent, and you see consistency wins the race. You don't always have to be the fastest car, but if you're consistent every lap, then you got a daggone good chance of winning it.
Definitely, Patrick, and he definitely is the top dog here, as I mentioned, and with 3 wins on the season and 5 weeks. Man, Patrick, he is definitely laying it down here, almost similar to what we see out of the High Octane Sim Series with Matthew Badby with 6 wins in their series there. So we'll probably see the same thing out of Patrick Hernandez here. But as I mentioned, as the weeks progress here, we're starting to see these rookies really gain their wheels here, gain the knowledge of when to pit, when to strategize, and when to do things like that. So I feel like as the weeks progress here in this league, Patrick, it's really going to give Patrick Hernandez a lot more competition throughout these weeks.
Yeah, it's just his experience is going to wear off on these young guns here, being able to kind of take their time and eventually teach them his ways. Now his may not be the best, and it may work a little different for somebody else, but they're going to learn under his tutelage everyone's going to get faster, and then he's going to have a real battle on his hands with the guys that, got faster reaction times, or, a better line, or a different pit strategy, and he's going to have his hands full. But that's what you want to see in this sport is, the guys getting faster and better than you are, and watching the sport progress.
Patrick, to use a reference that's good right now, we could call him the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the International Racing League here. As you mentioned, he's going to teach his style to other people. It might not be the best way of doing things, and those other people are going to basically turn into Anakin Skywalker. They're going to get better than him here in the International Racing League and overtake him, if you will, in driver skills. So really keep an eye out for using his Jedi mind tricks here in the International Racing League to see if those young Padawans can catch the Jedi Master here in this league.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, he's passed 3 races or so, with him just winning. They look like stormtroopers. They keep shooting, but just can't seem to hit him.
That's right. See, there you go, Patrick, staying with the Star Wars references with me here. But folks, that wraps it up here in the International Racing League. If you were liking what you have seen here tonight from 10-4 Broadcasting, we invite you to go check us out on Facebook at 10-4 Broadcasting on there, as well as YouTube. Go ahead and hit that like, share, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff on there. Everybody knows how YouTube works. But also, tomorrow night, guys, we have a big Friday night planned for everybody. We are back with the Eastern Late Model Series. It's going to be live at 8 p.m. Eastern. But also, it is a Championship Friday in the High Octane Sim Series. That series, after running a week of about 15 or 16 races, it is time to close out the championship. We got Matthew Badby with 6 wins, trying to close out his regular season championship and also the overall point series champion. Stay tuned for that one because we might be doing a giveaway for viewers that are tuning into that race tomorrow night. Also, Patrick, we have the Powerhouse Racing League on Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Sunday night, you can catch us up in the booth here in the East Coast Tour Modified Series there. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But for everybody tuning in here tonight, we want to thank you for watching Patrick Hernandez go back-to-back like Drake here, International Racing League, picking up his 3rd win of the season. We can't wait to be back with these drivers next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as they take on Richmond. But for myself, William Tiller, and Patrick Morrison, we want to wish everybody a great night, a great weekend, and we'll see you on the track soon.